What's up, y'all? Welcome on back to another recap and review of the Shogun series. I am here to recap and review episode 3. Tomorrow is tomorrow. If you have not been following along with our series, highly recommend going back and listening to the recaps of 1 and 2. And obviously, they're going to be full spoilers from this point forward. So if you have not caught up through episode 3 of Shogun, this is your chance to push pause and come back later. But with all that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. In the first scene of the episode, we get Ibushi playing both sides of the field between Ishido and Toranaga. And Toranaga definitely knows this. And as Toranaga instructs Ibushi to move Blackthorne to Aizuro along with his wife, both are playing with each other here, but it seems like there's this quiet confidence of Toranaga. It makes him have the upper hand. Like he knows Ibushi is bullshitting him the entire time. And I love the dynamic between these two because it always seems like Ibushi is always like backpedaling on things. And it's just really great dialogue and conversations between these two characters. And honestly, the acting is phenomenal as well. But I love the character where he's never the one to really be confrontational. He's always the schemer. When someone calls him out on his bullshit, he kind of retracts and no, I would never do that to you. Like that kind of shit. So I really love his character. The captain general of the black ship disregards to Jesuit's concerns and plans to sail without Toranaga's permission. At Osaka Castle, Ishido inspects Bushigi's caravan under the guise of paying respects. Blackthorne and Mariko witness Toranaga secretly changing places with his wife in her litter. Now, this is some of my favorite parts of the episode in general because I've mentioned it on the first 2 reviews, and that is I am a huge fan of Mariko. I think she is the best character of the show. She's one of the best characters written recently in any TV show, period. The conversations between her and Blackthorne are just so damn good. I love the humor and the levity of the scene between Mariko and Blackthorne. He thinks the doctor is a warlock, and then the doctor thinks he needs to pillow with another girl to relax. And Blackthorne says that if he's not a warlock, then he's most certainly a pimp. And it's moments like that. Blackthorne really just kind of says just about anything that he wants. And Mariko, being more respectful, always like she never knows if he's being truthful or not. And I really enjoy how they're able to break up the tension between some of these confrontational scenes between characters with these moments between Mariko and Blackthorne. And it just adds a little bit more levity to the episode. But it's not just this scene, it's multiple scenes throughout this episode. So I'm going to continue to say that this scene between Mariko and Blackthorne was really good. Well, it was, because those are some of my favorite aspects of the entire series. But we also have Mariko's husband showing up, continuing to prove that he's an absolute dick. We don't have the backstory yet, but you know that Mariko absolutely hates this dude. Like, she's out there in the little courtyard area with her son, and he yells at the son, basically calling him a suckling child at that point. But what's so good about Shogun is they have a variety of characters here where they all have different personalities. And you might like one for completely different reasons than another character. Mariko's husband is one of those characters that's like, you fucking just, you don't like the dude, but damn, you love every moment that he shows up because it just adds a little bit more complexity to not only the story, but these characters and their relationships. So back to the whole caravan part of the episode where they are carrying Toranaga secretly out of Osaka Castle. Mariko explains that they will be killed if this is discovered, and Blackthorne creates a distraction, enabling them to leave the castle. And again, another good scene between Mariko and Blackthorne here. We finally get a different type of scene between these two characters. Typically what we've gotten so far is them two communicating about Japanese customs and stuff like that. But what this particular scene does differently a little bit is it adds in some character development aspects to it. A little bit more is revealed between her and her husband. She's talking highly of him, but she pauses before doing that. Like, you can tell that she just absolutely fucking hates this dude. And the acting here is so damn good. You have to pick up on some of these facial cues that a lot of these actors are doing, especially her. She's very reserved about speaking out about her husband. And she can't hide it on her face. She can't hide it on her face whatsoever. And it's just great acting. And you just really want more from not only this character, but what is it between these two that makes her despise him so much. Kiyama's men later attack the caravan and discover Toranaga. Toranaga's party escapes to a galley as Mariko's husband stays behind to stall pursuit. Now, this is a great action set piece here. We don't get a ton of that in this series, but this one is super interesting because we have these flaming arrows being shot across the distance. We have Mariko getting in on the action, which was great. She's taking out folks left and right, willing to die for Toranaga. Great action choreography here throughout the entire scene. What's so great about not only this action set piece, but just any of the scenes in general when you move through this series. And I mentioned it last episode, but I feel like I can't overstate it enough of just how phenomenal the set design is here. It legitimately feels like you're transported to the past when this is all going on, which is absolutely crazy because this show wasn't filmed in Japan. It was filmed in Canada, and they were using set designs for the castles and stuff like that. So just awesome set design. Some of the best set design that I've seen in a series in recent memory. A shout out to the Acolytes' shitty set design on that for sure. But this whole action set piece between them ambushing the caravan, it looks so cool because it's in the dead of night and you have the flaming arrows. So a lot of it is just staged very well and a lot of the world feels lived in. So I'm going to continue to state just about every episode that the set design is absolutely fantastic, and this episode's no different. The harbor is blocked by Kiyama's men, and Toranaga boards the black ship, striking a deal with the Portuguese in exchange for safe passage. Now, just before all that occurs, we have Mariko's husband staying behind. He ends up fighting them off to the death. Now, granted, we don't really see his death, but we do see him fighting the horde of men at the harbor, and Mariko doesn't look upset whatsoever. You would think that a married couple, especially in Japan where it's all about respect and caring for one another, Mariko doesn't fucking shed a tear. She doesn't look devastated. It's almost like a look of satisfaction on her face, like, thank fucking God that dude's gone. Again, great facial acting here. We also have Lord Ishido spitting nails after Hiramatsu comes in and says that Toranaga has resigned his position as regent and that they can no longer vote since there's only 4 of them. Toranaga, always a step ahead. Like, he's the smartest dude in the series by far. The captain general of the black ship requires Blackthorne to be left behind, but he daringly follows in the galley and rejoins once both ships have broken the blockade. At sea, Toranaga makes Blackthorne a Hatamoto and asks him to teach Western tactics to a new regiment. So at the end of this episode, we get to peek into a little bit more of Blackthorne's character. He has left his children on his own accord for the open seas. He yearned for the horizon and the freedom that the open seas gave him. He decided to do what made him happiest at the moment. And you can definitely tell there's some regret there because he has it down to the day of when he left his children. So I'd be very curious to see if we get to explore that a little bit more, get to peel back the layers of him and his family, because I do like that we're having this little breadcrumb approach to the character development where we're getting little pieces here and there to really keep the interest and keep all of these storylines compelling throughout each episode. And they're not just dumping exposition, they're giving you little breadcrumbs here and there. And I really appreciate that they do that. The scene where Toranaga asks Blackthorne to train his regiment is a good scene overall. I don't like the lighting in it though. At times it's like super bright, like overexposed, I guess you could say. It's super bright on their faces and it gives this fake look to me. But I love the whole teach me how to dive bit. Again, it brings a little bit of levity back to the show. Toranaga continues to test Blackthorne's loyalty at every single turn just to make sure that he does what he says. But yeah, while I liked the content of this particular scene, it just didn't look that great. So I know I kind of jerked off the set design and the look of the show earlier, but this is the one time that I will say that it just did not look good. I don't know much about lighting and shit like that, but the lighting is off here to me. But yeah, guys, a great episode overall. It gives you a little bit of everything, gives you some of that character development. It gives you some scenes to push the plot forward. It also gives you a little bit of action. So this episode does a lot of good things in one. Gives you a little bit of everything. But let me know down in the comments below of how you feel about episode 3 of Shogun. And while you're there, hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps us out. And with that being said, that's going to be it for me. I will catch y'all next time on the next episode. Laters.